Good morning. I'm a minute late. This stream didn't want to be I wanted it to be. I originally intended to watch some more of the Vanderklay and Vervaeke video that I've been slowly, not really even trying to watch, but kind of watching. Then my friend Joseph Landbjort, he left a long and interesting comment on the last stream. And he texted me before he finished the comment and told me that there was a comment coming. And I thought, I think I need to, that's a really good comment. I kind of just want to just focus on that comment and then go back to some more Jordan Peterson stuff. And then yesterday was a weird day. You ever have one of those days where like you are unsatisfied with the reasons that you are doing everything? Like even like the way that you are looking at a particular object seems unsatisfactory to you. Yesterday was a weird day. I'm running out of time. And because I have so little time, I spend time thinking about time. I spend time thinking about how I'm using time. And I spend time thinking about how the time that I'm using is producing something. Something is being built with all of the time that I spend. And you can look at that as simple as like, there are neural pathways forming based upon the choices I make every day. And yesterday I was thinking about the time that I spend live streaming. And I've been thinking about that for a while because, well, I've only started live streaming recently. And live streaming is like an interesting medium in the sense that like there's somebody out there in a different state and I can like click on the words that they said and their words appear on the screen. And then as their words are on the screen, I can put things like this. And now I am VNA. I am virtually not alone because I have emblazoned this on a screen and I have this overlay and I have brand.
Whoa, what was that? An owl? Whoa, did that ballast just shells is flying my hand red. Look at it go. Hey, little guy, you're prancing all over. This is the coolest thing ever. Flying off the shelf? Hoot, hoot. Now it's prancing on my head. This is incredible. This is the coolest thing ever.
But I need to be honest about live streaming for me because I think I'm at the end of live streaming, at least as any kind of like regular occurrence. In some sense, live streaming, and this is different for everyone, so this stream this morning is not meant to be judgmental. This is just me telling you how I feel with very little performance, which is unusual. Although even this is a performance of not performing. Everything is a performance at the end of the day. That would be a fun debate to have. I would like to argue with someone that thinks that we aren't performing. And then I would argue that everything is a performance. Because essentially, like, anytime there is an audience, we change our behaviors for that audience. And like we know this because we speak and act differently at work than we do around our friend groups, which is to say that like the stage we are on at work requires a different performance than the stage we are on with our family or the stage we are on with our friends. Like, I mean, that's what I mean by performance. Um, it doesn't take a lot of work to do a live stream for me. I like listen to something and maybe I write down some timestamps on my little like orange piece of paper. Um, and then I click go live, and then I do this for an hour, and then I stop doing it. Um, but the thing that I have realized for myself and about myself is that the time that I spend live streaming, I am spending time producing something that doesn't really have any return value. And now there is an argument to be made that like, well, it has value in the present. But the thing is, like, I think that I spend too much time focused on things that have present value and that don't have future value. Like, because I was imagining myself having, 100 live streams or hundreds of live streams. And then I would never go back to them. I would never share them with anyone. They would just be these like slices of a morning that meant something at some point, but didn't have any like value beyond the moment. And I just don't want to do that anymore. And part of it is like, if I think about the time it takes me to like write something, it's way harder for me. And the reward is way further away, and there might not even be a reward. Like with live streaming, it's like there's an immediate award because there's 8 people watching. I have attention right now. And I'm not even doing anything. But yet I know that there are people watching and listening, and that makes me feel good. And when I sit and I write, or I sit and I work on something that nobody sees, I don't have any attention. There's no one watching. There's nobody that knows, unless I post about what I'm doing to get attention. And I'm realizing in myself that I don't want to be the kind of person that spends time trying to garner attention for things that don't have lasting value. And I didn't really want to talk about it because I feel like it's offensive to some people, and no one will believe me when I say like, this isn't about anybody else, it's about me. But it is about me. And I might do a live stream again sometime, but I don't want live streaming to be a part of my regular rhythm. It's not what I want to do. So, I'm going to Symbolic World today. It's like a 7-hour drive. I think I'm going to talk to Ian. Ian and I are going to record something today while I'm driving to Symbolic World. And I said I would do like some vlogging, so I'll do some vlogging. But then I don't plan to live stream next week or the week after that. So, yeah, I'm going to do some other stuff. Olson, I would probably lose, but not everything is performative. Maybe. Scott says, what about the relationships? It's interesting because I was telling, like, I had an interaction with somebody where we have known each other for over a year. And what I said to them was like, I said, like, we're not actually friends. Like, our profiles are friends, but like, I don't know anything about you. You don't know anything about me. Like, we have thousands of interactions back and forth in the digital sphere, but like, it's not that meaningful. Like our profiles are friends, and it's like fun to have like prophylitic friends. And for me, it's fun because there's like a tension behind it. And I mean, it depends. Like, yeah, you can start as profile friends, then become real life friends. It's totally possible. For me, with relationships, like I'm struggling to see the people in my real life, and a lot of that's just because everyone has like young children and is slammed with obligations. So it becomes easy for me to like fill my time with easy profile interactions. What is this? I'll come back to Brett. CW, the old "it's not you, it's me" routine. Yeah. The angst has given more gravitas than you know. What does Brett say? Value in the internet and the external. I, for one, benefit from you, but I also respect you and your feelings. I'll just have to work harder to keep our friendship, LOL. As long as you still come on, LOL, you don't have to host, but I would miss your company. Well, and there's an incentive here for me to never stop, right? Like there's an incentive here where there are real human beings and there is something real that we share. But like, is that the best thing that I should be doing with my time? Is building something that doesn't last? Like I can't make that argument. I don't see any argument that, and some of this is like what is real? And I've been thinking a lot about like what is real. And I in Vervaeke's Awakening from the Meaning Crisis book, he talks a little bit about how things have a greater and lesser degree of realness. And I think that's right. I think that like, yes, the digital is real. This is real. The internet is real. But this is all less real than my wife who is one floor above me right now. And part of that is like proximity to touch. Like it would be faster for me to like jog upstairs and like play tag to my wife than it would for me to like jog to Florida and play tag to Brett. Therefore, my wife is more real than Brett is. And some of that is even like everyday proximity. Like I go to work every day. And so what I do on the weekends is less real than what I do on the weekdays because more of my time is spent at work. So work is very real to me because of how much time I spend there and also how much space I take up there. So I think realness is attached to time and space and like proximity and amount and quantities. Now there's a different kind of realness because like most Saturdays I take the dog and I go for a run in the marsh. And that's like my favorite time of the week. It's just me and the dog. We're alone in the marsh for maybe 2 hours. I've been listening to Martin Shaw's book while I run with the dog. And then I come to the point where I can't run anymore, which is about 1.5 miles, and it's very embarrassing for me. And then I just walk with the dog. And that's like sacred and holy, which is almost like a really real. But it doesn't always happen. Like last Saturday I wasn't home, so I didn't get to do it. But I go to work, Monday through Friday, and that's real. And I've found myself mentally and physically maybe even spiritually, being drawn to things that are less real than what's in front of me. You know, like there's these guys at work at 10:15 Monday through Friday. I have a break, and people go outside and walk. And I go outside and I stand in a corner of the parking lot, and I catch up on TLC things. And these guys, they ask me like, "Hey, you want to walk with us?" And I go, "No." I think I feel guilty. I think I feel guilty that there's people in front of me that want to walk with me, and I'm like doing YouTube notifications in the corner of the parking lot. You know, I also feel guilty about this lady in Washington. When we lived in Washington, there was this day that was like especially stormy, and power lines had fallen down, which is crazy. I don't know if you've ever driven through like lightning. And by lightning, I mean power lines that are like flying up off the road. And we had like had to take 3 different roads just to get to where, like, just to our normal drive. And there was this tree that had fallen down in the driveway. And I remember, oh, this is going to mess me up. It's so simple. I remember the look on this lady's face. She was like standing in front of the tree. And her car was parked, lights were on, doors were open. And I remember thinking to myself, like, I spent so much time in the gym, like I could lift that tree. I could lift that tree and I could help that lady get out of her driveway and like move on with her day. And I remember feeling like, but I'm going to be late for work and I don't want to help this lady. And I drove away. And like that memory just like haunted me. Of like, there was this person that, I mean, we were kind of in like, we were on the Olympic Peninsula in Washington, which is not precisely the middle of nowhere, but it kind of has a middle of nowhere feel. And like I could have helped that lady. And I mean, it's not even like she was like in danger. But that memory just hangs over me. Like I had the strength to help someone and I didn't do it. And these guys walking every day at 10:15, like they're starting to like haunt me a little bit. And I'm starting to wonder, like, the things I do on the internet, like, are those things pulling me away from things I'm supposed to be doing that are more real to me because they're more present into me in front of my face? Like my face is stuck in the screen all the time. I go to work and I sit at a computer screen. I just click things. And I come home and the TV's on. And you just sit down, you just melt in the couch and there's a TV. And I can't do this anymore. I can't live this way anymore. And part of this is like I need to renegotiate my relationship with the internet. It's happened to me last year too. It was later in the years after Midwestuary, but I feel myself like getting sucked into the screen. And there's an argument to be made there where it's like, yeah, but it's participatory and it's full of life and it's good for you. And there's some truth to that. And this is where I really mean, like, this is about me. It's not about you. But it's not good for me anymore. Like, I think the internet and the digital like has a place somewhere in our lives, but for me, it's too high up the hierarchy. I spend too much time thinking about the digital. And so much of that is because it's cheap and easy and takes no work, and yet I still get attention. I spend no time working on things and I just put it out there and I get rewarded for that. And so it's really, really hard to be like, well, stop doing the thing that you're getting rewarded for. Like it, and people like it, and it has value to people. I want to read some comments on Christian Baxter's latest video. Because, you know, like, there's this guy named Ups, and I don't know if his name is pronounced Harris or Harris. I'm sorry, Ups, that I don't know how to pronounce your first name. And I met him briefly in Chicago, and he was pretty much how I imagined him from interacting with him on screen before. And he goes, I'm leaving TLC. Apparently Mark Parker's releasing that this weekend. I'm very curious. What Ups is doing. Ups is a very interesting man. I think about Sartori. Think about Christian Baxter. And this is not a stream where I'm not saying that I'm leaving TLC. That's not what this is. This is me being like, I need to renegotiate my relationship with the internet. But there was this comment left on Christian Baxter's latest video, his Motorcycle Mania. Wait, let me see if this is the right one. Oh no, this is an anti-TLC comment. That's not what I... Here it is. Here it is. Okay, share the screen. So this is from Slicarius. He'd probably hate that I'm reading his comment on a stream, to be honest with you. I really like Slack. I don't really know Slack at all. I stood behind him in a line in Chicago, and I don't know, said a few words to him. He, seeing him, and I had met him briefly before at an estuary I went to when I was living in a different place, and he has this sort of like, again, I really don't know him, but I would call him jolly. I don't know if that's accurate. I don't know if it's fair to call him jolly. But for me, at least, when I've seen Slack the 2 times, he was the kind of person, even as a stranger, like that when he smiles, like it just made me smile. And I have this like deep affinity for him, even though I know next to nothing about him. It's very strange. So this is what he said. And this Christian Baxter video, you know, Baxter's he's kind of talking about similar things that I'm talking about. He's talking specifically about having conversations, and that he just came to the end of wanting to have conversations. And so now he's still doing film stuff, and it's still ending up on the internet. But he needed more embodiment. And I relate to that. And I saw Slack's comment, and Slack's comment, yeah, it just spoke to my soul. Also, Chris Howard leaves the best comments. Motorcycles and other solitary pursuits have their own kind of contemplation. The forest light was very nice. I love Chris Howard. So Slack says, so here's the thing. I would never normally have any interest in motorcycle content, but crossing the streams is effective because of the established relationship. When I think of the people in the TLC, most of what we see is the same circular yapping about whatever the issue of the day are. The issues, multiple. The issues of the day are, typically in response to what some other people had a conversation about. But offline, we have all these other interests that aren't included because of how pseudo-intellectual the conversations tend to be. Board games, sports, bikes, hiking, and climbing mountains, RPGs, cooking, video games, and so much more that are actually part of our embodied routines left to the side. But this is how we actually get out into the world and relate with others rather than the masks we wear when participating in the online thinky-talky. Get out there and touch the grass, and eventually when the studio calls to you, have those conversations. You'll find the balance. Or Realize that everything you needed was right there all along, and be able to find meaningful contentment in the routines of family life. Um, David Boostel left this comment. I guess I'll try to find it on a conversation I had with Neil recently. And I was starting to use like AI thumbnails, and that started to bother me too. Like, this bothers me. I don't like how this looks. The aesthetics of this like really drive me nuts. Sounds like, well, I'll use AI thumbnail because like I don't do graphic design, and then that started to drive me nuts. And I was like, I don't like that I'm spending time asking Grok to like develop a minimal pencil style inspired by the Ashcan school with a little bit of radical postmodern Van Gogh thrown in, and also be inspired by the whimsy of Final Fantasy IX. That's the prompt if you want it. Because like at the end of the day, like the AI thing, and like I'll use AI for research. I'll show you what I've been researching. And so it's useful as an assistant. I really do think that. But it's only good as an assistant because I've already done the work, in the sense that like there was a period where I was a paid researcher, and so like I know how to do that specific task. And so me sending out AI to do it is doing something that I know how to do and can like judge. And so when it comes back with data, I have a pretty good grasp on like what to do with that data then. With the drawing thing, like I can't draw. And so what would be best for me would be to have like a blank piece of paper and like a pencil, and to like scribble out the word imagination with a door behind it, and then to keep doing that. Because then I could get good at drawing, or I could at least get better at drawing. And like again, it goes back to the same sort of like cheap and easy thing where it's like I just put a prompt into a machine and this thing appears, and it has a better aesthetic than this aesthetic here. And so I just keep doing it, and then there's a pattern. And now this is not a long pattern. This is only 5 weeks of a pattern. But 5 weeks is still, I mean, what do they say? Is it 70 days, 30 days? 30 days to form a routine? And so I took a photo of myself, and like it reminded me of the old days of like MySpace. And I was like, what if I just did like photography? Like, why don't I just take a picture of something, anything? Like why am I always going for an AI thumbnail when I could be getting better at photography? And I'm okay at photography because I used to be I was a professional videographer for a short time. And so like, I know the rule of threes. I know the basics. And I was like, why is it that it took me so long to think about taking a photo? And part of it is like, I think, because when you scroll YouTube, I don't see a lot of people that have photos as their thumbnails. Maybe I'm sure there are. I just don't see it. I don't think about it. And it's not what's being done right now. Because right now the thing is you have like a face, and you have that face in like an extreme posture, and you have like 2 or 3 words in large colored letters. And so that's like the thing that you're supposed to do. Why am I here? I'm looking for the comment from David Boostel on the Neil video. This. Because let me see if I can do it this way. Wait, what is his? Oh, it's Leviathan. No. Okay. Let's go newest. Too many freaking comments. Here we go. So Busuttil says, why did the Command F not find the BUS? Huh. He goes, in terms of evangelism, is it possible that what we're doing is making someone communicated in the same way kicking out is excommunicated? And that comment's also been like rattling around in my brain. I think it's one of the coolest things that the digital can do is that you can communicate a stranger. And part of that is because there's no stakes. Right? Like, who are you to me? I mean, you're someone, you're a human being, you're a person. But truthfully, if we never spoke again, it would be like, well, my realer life, the life that is more real to me, has not been affected. Which means I can tell you anything because, like, what? Are you going to drive up here and fight me? Are you going to figure out where I work and, like, call my boss and get me in trouble? Like, probably not. That's a lot of energy. So I can just say things. But at the same time, some of the things we say, some of, like, just the speaking it out loud. Like this morning, because I've said the things that I'm saying to you out loud, there's a higher chance that I'm now actually not going to live stream next Tuesday. Because until next Tuesday happens, nobody really knows. I don't even know what I'm going to do. I mean, between now and next Tuesday, I might feel so like just itching and addicted and be like, I have to live stream again. And it's like, I want attention. I want to see people. I want to talk to people. Maybe I won't drop the link. I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. But at the same time, there's this deep, deep beauty to communicating someone and letting someone come on, letting someone speak. And it's part of it is the speaking, but part of it is also in the hearing. When someone speaks and they know that they're being listened to, and even through the digital profile, you can see the person's face and your subconscious goes, this person is attending to me. They are paying me attention. They are hearing me. They are listening to me. That is this like, I don't know why it transforms us, but it transforms us. When you communicate, when you are communicated, you become someone else. Or you have the possibility of becoming someone else. I don't know. This Busuttil comment really got me. What's next on my list? Oh, text message. What time is it? It's already 5:04. I should probably think about what I need to do before in the last 26 minutes. I don't know. Well, I'll do this. I'll show you what I've been working on. Where's the Claude tab? Oh, you know what I want to do? I want to read this. Because I've been wanting to read this for forever, and I keep forgetting to read this, and I really want to read this. Share that. Add this. This is Griswold Grimm on Medium from June 5th, 2014. So this is from 12 years ago. It's called Rise Up. Wait, can I clap this? See, just let me clap. I'm just trying to clap for this story. I'm not signing up. In order to be on the winning team, you must learn the rules of the game. I've been on the losing team for a long time now. And as a result, I've grown an overwhelming affinity for you. In order to be on the winning team, you have to realize what game you're playing. It's like the ants floating I've mentioned before. But cross that with the crab bucket, and you'll get a better picture of where we're at. We got a big, wide layer of ants at the bottom, but some of the other ants are building pyramids on that shit. If you're on the losing team, that shit is you, brah. Rise up. People talk about wealth inequality, but that don't even recognize money's role in the game. You have to realize a few things on a fundamental level. To level the playing field, you have to know what field you're actually on and where you are on it. Why do you think they call it grassroots? Therefore, the most important thing you can do is learn the game and learn the field and teach everyone as much as you know. All those people telling you to wake up think they know more than you. Maybe you should hear them out. Maybe for Americans, we can put a benchmark on awakening. You get to call yourself awake if you no longer believe in the American dream. Over the last 3 years since Occupy woke me up, I have been sounding the alarm. But I have grown to value personal sovereignty a lot more since then. Respecting personal sovereignty means respecting a person's right to willful ignorance. Skip that section. Level 1 equals hate the player. Level 2 equals hate the game. Level 3 equals learn to play. I strive for level 5. I don't know what his view of level 5 is, but I think a lot about what I want level 4 to be. Change the game. To change something, build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete. Build a better game. You know, I actually kind of like the whole build a better game thing. I think there's a lot of build a better game that exists in the Jesus story and the Jesus historical record. You know, you read the Gospels. When I read the Gospels, I think to myself, like, there's a lot of, this is the way you have been going on through life, and I'm telling you there is another way to be human. You have heard it said, but I say to you. And I just can't stop thinking about I wrote this, what time? 5:08. I'll try to find this. I wrote this in January, and I sat down, I was thinking about the digital, I was thinking about my time on the digital, because like, I was off social media for 8 years, and a lot changed in the digital in those 8 years. And so being back on the digital now for a little over a year in kind of like full capacity, it's strange for me because I remember not being attached to my phone as an adult. And I'm always like oscillating between the memories of my 8-year exile and then now being attached to my phone. You know, I was at a bonfire a few weeks ago and saw Chad and Free Rillian, and Chad said this thing to us where he was like, guys, we're all addicts. Like, we all are addicted to our phones. Like, you can't stop, I can't stop, we can't stop, we're not going to stop. That's also been haunting me. Because Chad is probably right that I am an addict. And it is my phone, you know, because with my phone, I don't have any notifications, so I did that. I don't know if I've showed this before, and I'm not looking at the screen, so I don't even know if this is coming through. But it's just words. There's no icons. It's just words. So I don't get any notifications. I don't see any bubbles. My phone is always on Do Not Disturb. There's like maybe 6 people that get through that. Otherwise, like I miss every call and every text message that comes in. So then I like, you know, whenever I go to look at missed calls, then I see who called me, which is kind of like having a, you know, an answering machine. And then you go to your phone and go, oh, I wonder who called. And you pick it up, you go, hello, hello. So it's more like that. But the crazy part is I don't have any YouTube notifications, But when I'm at work, I'll just kind of have it open and I'll like refresh it and see what's happening. And I mean, notifications are supposed to save you time because they'll tell you something is happening in the digital world. Come find out. And I don't want to be notified, but I still want to know what's happening. So then I just find myself endlessly like checking, which is more manual and it's more friction. But it's also more time. And I don't want to live that way. I don't want to be notified of every occurrence. And I don't want to be the kind of human that always has to know what's happening somewhere else. I want to be the kind of human that can learn to be content wherever I am. You know, I also don't want to be the kind of human that like that can't handle silence. And I handle silence well, but like Monday, I think it was Monday. Monday I forgot my headphones. So I couldn't listen to anything at work. And I was so bored. And I don't precisely know why it is that I am running so hard from boredom and the thoughts in my head, but I will tell you, I don't want to hear the thoughts in my head. And the fact that there are good things, and they are good things happening on the internet, in the digital, for me is just the easiest and cheapest excuse to always be listening to something, because there is always something good to listen to. And it is genuinely good. I mean it. It's good. A lot of it's true and a lot of it's beautiful. But what is not good or true or beautiful is me at work for 8 hours a day with headphones on, refusing to listen to the thoughts inside of my own head. And honestly, I'm afraid. I don't want to hear what's in there. Because often when I spend time in there, the things in there want me to change. They want me to live differently. And I don't really want to change. I don't really want to lose the 50 pounds that I want to lose. I want to keep like binge eating chips in the car outside Walmart. That's what I want to do because that's what I keep doing. And so I'll go on a run and I'll run a mile and then I'll have a day at work that I didn't like and I'll go to Walmart and buy a bag of chips and eat it quick. And that's not the most destructive habit, but living that way leads to worse things. And I guess I am a believer that like basically often we're fighting a 7-headed hydra. And I often try to like slice off one head and be like, okay, the binge eating, it's been dealt with. Now I'll deal with the other thing. And that's never worked for me. But I actually do think it's possible to like assess the battlefield to see the 7-headed hydra. Well, I keep on saying Sidra. 7-headed hydra. And then to like slice all at once. Now there's a new one on the horizon that's like walking towards me, you know. You kill this one, there's another one coming. But then you get better at killing hydras. It's 5:15. Yeah, sure, we'll do this. We'll view this post quick. When did I write this? January 1st. This was New Year's Day. Wow, I was on time. Yeah, I'll share this quick. I gotta add it. I wrote this January 1st. I've been thinking about it again. I was thinking about the 7 deadly sins: lust, gluttony, greed, sloth, wrath, envy, pride. And then I was thinking about how the deadly 7 have been renamed in our postmodern internet parlance: gooning, AI slop, brain rot, shilling, grifting, doom scrolling, rage bait, hate posting, FOMO, stand spiraling, and clout chasing, flexing. I don't have anything else to say beyond that. Okay, I'll show you what I've been working on in Claude. 13 minutes. At this point there's over there's over 1 million words, I think, which is insane. Okay, where did I find the artifacts in the web version? I only ever use the mobile version. No, I know that you're here. Artifacts. Oh, sidebar. Okay, now where is it? Where's the big one? Maybe at the bottom. Nope, not at the bottom. Here it is. Okay, but how do I get this full screen? Maybe I can't. Yeah, I don't know how. Okay, I'll share this. I haven't been looking at this at all. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Well, the problem is my dad buys chips, so then they're in the house, and I get the taste for chips. Then I start craving chips. So if I can get my dad to stop buying chips, then we'll be in good shape. I'll leave this up. Thanks, Branch. I wanted to figure out how to carbonate like water, basically, because I was trying to get plastic out of my life, because I was reading the literature on how plastic changes hormones. I was also reading about what hormones do in the body. And I was looking around at many of like the, I don't know, social ills. And I was going like, I think it just might be the chemicals. Like I think the chemicals have changed us. And so yeah, I'm one of those people that think that. And it's funny because whenever I talk to someone about this, they usually just kind of like dismiss it. I mean, that's fine. But I read like the science. I think part of it is that people don't take science seriously anymore, which is like, I mean, it's fair. I get it. I don't think it's correct. But because of the way like science has been used as a cudgel, now everyone's just kind of like, yeah, no, like you're talking science, like no, I don't. Fool me once, fool me twice, nah. But I was reading the literature, and because it's not just like plastics, but it's like our food system, like what our food is, what we call food. Most of that disrupts our hormones. Most of the clothing that we wear disrupts our hormones. Anything that's scented candles, scented anything, that disrupts hormones. And I don't believe there's been any testing done on like just modern life. Like if you were to combine all the features of life, what you eat, what you wear, what you smell, what you touch. I mean, even, well, sound is different because it's not hormones, but it is like our world is very loud and there's all kinds of hearing problems that go with that. So basically, it's like the world that we are creating, like, you know, like what kind of world are we creating? What kind of world are we participating in? And then like what happens to a human being when their hormones get changed? What happens to the other internal body systems when one system is disrupted every day and then ongoing? So it's constant disruption of a key body system. How does that impact the other body systems? And then you look at like most of the things people complain about our world, and you go, well, if we ate differently, if we consumed differently, if we thought about the things that we're attaching to our bodies, clothing, differently, we know what we might be able to live in a different world. Then I was thinking about like Jesus. And I was thinking about repentance. And we can use like the fancy old term that people really like to use, metanoia. Although I like the Hebrew more, teshuva, teshuv. And in those words, this idea of like turning around. You have been walking one way, and you have some kind of encounter that forces you to change directions, to turn around. And even the word direction is interesting because, like, I learned because I'm becoming Anglican that I don't have a priest. I mean, I do have a priest, but like the head guy is a rector, and rector is Latin for leader. So in the word direction is this word like leading, to be led. And so like to turn around is to be like, I am being led one way, and now I'm going to be led another way. And I'm going to change my leader, which allows me to return. And then you realize that like, if I'm being led a certain direction, who is leading me now? And you go, well, if I don't know who's leading me. You go, well, something might be leading you. And sometimes it's just the crowd. Sometimes we just go with the crowd. And I feel this way all the time where I'm doing something, I go, why am I doing this? I begin to question my actions. And then I go, I don't really have a reason for doing this. And when I think about it, when I inspect it, when I take the time when I force leisure upon myself to slow down and to inspect what I'm doing, I go, this thing that I'm doing that I don't know why I'm doing, it's not good for me. And I just feel like I spend so much time moving so fast that I don't take the time. I mean, honestly, I don't take the time to think much anymore. I'm rushing from one thing to the next. And I was thinking about this idea of returning and repenting and metanoia and teshuva, and to be led one way and then to say, I'm going to be led a different way, and I'm going to be led by Jesus, and what will happen to me if I do that? And growing up, I always thought that repentance was solely about my soul. I thought it only affected my spiritual life. And I thought that I am being led towards hell, and now I am following Jesus, and so now I am being led towards heaven. And I don't disagree with that reading, but I disagree that it only affects my soul. Like I really believe that Jesus wants to like transform my entire life. And that like part of wearing a WWJD bracelet, full performance, is to consider like, what am I eating? What am I putting into my body? What am I wearing? Where did these clothes come from? And, I argued this actually when I was deconstructing. And even when I had lost faith, I was arguing these kinds of things with people who still had faith. And it was interesting to me then. It's still interesting to me now. I think a lot about supply chains. I think a lot about how everything is connected, and how every choice is connected to so many other choices, and how the things I choose to purchase, just based upon like the laws of supply and demand, they create a demand. And so then it's like, okay, what are the things that I am demanding? I go like, do I want to be the kind of person that is demanding more streaming services for TV? And those are the kinds of thoughts that like, they don't go away, but I can make them go away by listening to podcasts all day long. I think it's just time I have to face myself. I mean, Branch is right. He's usually right. Not always. Not always. In order to make peace with myself, I have to face myself. I have to deal with myself. I have to go meet myself. 5:27. This might go long. Maybe not. Maybe I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. I can't decide. I'm going to share this Claude screen. So I wanted to learn how to carbonate water because I wanted to make carbonated water because I learned that the interior of every single aluminum can is coated with plastic. And I went, oh, well, that kind of sucks. And so I was like, well, if I could figure out how to carbonate water, then I wouldn't need to buy seltzer. I could just make seltzer. Like how hard can it be to carbonate? So I learned a few different ways to carbonate something. I'll show you. One sec. There's an industrial way. Then there's like the old school way. And this is so simple and so easy. And I'd heard of it, but I never really knew about it. This is fermented carrots. I've been fermenting. Let's see if this explodes everywhere and turns into a mess. Now, I burped it last night. You can't see because I don't have a good camera on, but there's a slight bit of fizz. Maybe you can hear it. Like this fermenting thing just like, it creates carbonation, which kind of blew me away. Where am I going to put these carrots? So then I started learning about fermenting. And then I learned that like in the old days when people got married, they'd be handed like sourdough starter and like a ginger bug, which was like the health of the life or the health of the house was like, this is how you have bread. This is how you make living water. And like, it's yours now. Take a little bit of the starter. And then I thought about like just the way that my wife and I are living. And Jane thinks about this stuff too, to be clear. It's not just me. And there was this day where I went to the grocery store and I walked around and I just kind of had this realization that like, that I was walking through a graveyard. That like nearly everything I was encountering was like dead. And, you know, the crazy thing is that even like when you get to the bottom of thinking about grass-fed beef, you get to the grass. And you think about the fact that like this cow is eating grass. And the reason that I'm supposed to buy grass-fed beef over corn-fed beef is because the cow was not designed to eat corn. And so when the cow eats corn, it actually does damage to its internal system. And so then we have to pump it full of chemicals to keep the cow alive long enough so that it gets fat enough to kill it so that we can eat it. And that all of that is in the cow when I eat it. And that has an effect on me. Like that's the argument. So you have grass-fed beef. And it's healthier for the cow to eat grass. So therefore, it's healthier for me to eat the grass-fed than the corn-fed. That's the argument. But then I started thinking about grass. See, and this is the problem with me is that I'm supposed to stop thinking, but then I keep thinking further, and I create all kinds of problems for myself and the people that are most real to me because then I go on these rants and raves about all these things. And they just go, listen, man, I'm just trying to eat a meal, Ethan. Can you just stop talking? And then I just rant and rave. And the thing about grass is that grass gets fed from the soil. And so if the soil isn't alive, then the grass is like, it's there. So it's like alive, but it's not like alive. It's not like full of minerals. And so then you go like, well, where do minerals come from? And boy, is that a deep dive. And then you start trying to figure out like, okay, well, if minerals are like the thing that I need that make everything feel good and happy and alive, and if the grocery store doesn't really have minerals, because the thing is like, we have decided, and all of this, it's so strange. All of this starts after World War II. It really is the case that an entire way of life collapsed during the two wars. And then we decided to try out a new way of life, and here we are 70 years later. We think that we can take a whole of something and then break it up into parts and then just put the parts in the thing later on down the industrial line, and that will be the same thing. But it's not. And this whole thinking about wholes and parts, it kind of explains like most of everything, because it really is sort of one of the key underlying philosophies of how we're living now. And so I wanted to figure out, like where do minerals come from and yada, yada, yada. So I started talking to an AI about it. And not talking in the sense of conversing, but like, hey, I want to build a framework that I could live off of. Could you go research this topic, bring back, correlate? And I was feeding it philosophy, and I was feeding it theology. And so then you could see it begin to think differently as we were going back and forth. And then we began to build this thing, and now it's over 1 million words. And I have no idea what I'm going to do with it. But I spend part of my day, I can only do it 3 or 4 times a day, because I'll ask it one question, and it will spend all of my prompts in responding to the one question. I think because of how like long the context window is. So I'll show you the table of contents, and then I really got to get out of here because I got to drive to Ohio, and I haven't packed yet. So I got to pack, and then I got to drive. So this is this document. I just titled it Pattern by Design because I needed to use that for something. And the question is like, what kind of civilization do you need to build to sustain a fully human life? It has the grocery store and the tombstone thing that I was riffing on. See, I think this is interesting because it says, and I agree with most of this, every processing decision, pasteurization, hydrogenation, bleaching, irradiation, is a solution to the problem of distance, which is a solution to centralization, which is a solution to profit. What you lose when you kill time is life itself. And there's this thing where it's like the things that we used to spend time on took more time. They really did. And it's probably because I've started fermenting that I've started noticing how it doesn't take me time to do a live stream. And all of this is bothering me, which is why I can't live stream anymore, because I need to do things that take me time, because I got to change. I can't keep going the way I'm going. And the distance thing is interesting because we used to shop more locally. There used to be more local options. 100 years ago, there were, I can only do it in reverse. I don't know how to do the math the other way. Like we have lost, or we're not using, I'm so bad with math terms. We are using 93% less seeds than we were 100 years ago. Because now what we're growing in the ground is things that will travel the distance to a store on a refrigerator truck. And so that limits the options because everything is traveling somewhere else. Everything is grown somewhere and then going somewhere else to be sold somewhere it's not from. And that's just kind of how I feel. I feel like I'm spending all of my time trying to sell myself somewhere that I'm not from. And I'm going like, what would happen to me if I spent more of my time and energy growing in the place that I'm from, the place that I am? And then like on occasion, I appeared in a place where I wasn't from. And part of this is like, I don't want to be a digital native. I don't want to be native to the digital land. I want to occasionally appear in the digital land and explore when time permits and when it's good for me and when it makes sense. but I don't want the digital to have a foothold in my everyday the way it does now. Even though it produces good things, I don't think it produces what is best for me. Okay, so this is my table of contents. I'm trying to map reality. See, I didn't want to talk about this because I guess I'm embarrassed to talk about it. But this is what I've been doing with some of my time. So like, maybe I'll just read part one, then I'll get out of here. It's 5:36. I can't be here any longer. Part one is the land. And so I tried to think about everything that would make up the land. And this is specifically about, because I'm trying to buy a house and I'm trying to get, just enough land where I could build something and grow something on that land. And so then I started thinking about soil and water systems and animals and bees and orchard. Yeah, see, this isn't even the whole, there's more that's been added. Let's just scroll. Oh, this is all, yeah, this is about patterns and how patterns just are, which is actually relevant to a recent conversation of the day, which was relevant because it was about another conversation of the day that Jordan Hall and Jim Rutt had. And yeah, there's things that just are. There are patterns that exist in the universe, like taking a seed and putting it down in, that just works. Nothing has to happen. I mean, like, you need some water, you need some sun, but like, that is a pattern that just is. You cannot deconstruct putting a seed into the earth, patting the dirt down, little water, little sun, something grows. And then you can look at that pattern that just is, and you can explore that using science. Science is the exploration of the patterns that just are. And those patterns will, if you trace them, if you do it well, if you do good science, the patterns that just are will lead you back to the pattern maker. I mean, that's what happened to me over a year ago when I was tracing the pattern of health. And I got really good at discovering what is good health, capital H, health. And that pattern of health led me to the healer, the one who is health. And there are all kinds of patterns that exist in our universe. Some people call them logoi, multiple logoses, logoi, logismoi. And you can trace them, and they will take you somewhere, and then you will have an encounter that will transform your life. But that's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to find a pattern and then to follow it and to trace it. And the thing is, I don't know if you can do that digitally. Maybe you can trace a pattern digitally, but I think you have to embody the pattern in order for the pattern to work. I think that is the case. Yeah, somewhere in here I used Paul Allen's fractal subsidiary argument for the good, and then I kind of added on the true and the beautiful into this sort of fractal pattern argument. And the thing is, like, if I worked hard at this, and if I took the research that was partially done by an artificial intelligence, and I printed it out, and I took notes, and I said, oh, I like this idea here. Let me write this in my own words. Let me use my voice. I could get pretty close to having a book. I mean, it would take a few years to do. And there's things I want to do that require a few years. And they also require the time that I'm spending on live streams. They require that time. And so there's just other things I want to do that need me. And so I have to give myself to them, even though I won't get any attention and I won't be rewarded for them. And even when I finish the larger project, it might be a dud, but I still want to take a swing at that. I want to take a swing. I want to try. I just want to be a contender. That's what do you call that? It's not a GIF or a meme. Oh, maybe it is a meme. I don't know. I like memes. I don't look at memes. Okay. This is the soil, the four causes, not this part. I just want to, I don't think I'm going to do this. It's 5:41. I've already lost. I'm not even interested in doing this. I'm just going to stop. Okay. I feel like I should look at comments. I don't know. I can't even keep up with these. There's been too many comments. I haven't been paying any attention. Okay, here's the thing. It's 5:41. Chris Howard is streaming. That's at Chris Howard 8473. That's where you should be because Chris Howard's the man. But I'm just gonna drop the link because I'm going to Symbolic World, which means my day is not a normal day. And if anybody wants to talk, I'll drop a link. And I probably have I have no more than 20 minutes. So I'll sit here I'll finish this cup of coffee. How about that? I've talked enough. What time is it? Hour and 10 minutes. That's plenty. What's up, Brett?
What's up, brother?
Oh, one sec. I'm supposed to be wearing these. Now I can hear you.
What's up, brother? That was good stuff.
How are you?
That was really good stuff, man. I was thinking about, finding my balance here too. And I really like being able to engage the people that think out loud like and that's what this space, a lot of it is. I mean, there's a lot of its own slop as well. But I do struggle with finding people that want to talk about the things that I'm interested in. And I think that's what's really cool about this place. Plus, it actually
Yes.
relieves the pressure from the people that are in my real life in front of me to have to deal with that. It's kind of like a bumper, you know. You guys get to take the brunt of these thoughts because you enjoy it as well. And then when I get around my family or friends that don't want to talk about this, I'm much more hospitable. I don't need to talk about it because I've already talked about it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah. I mean,
I respect what you're feeling and whatever decision you make and stuff like that. I think that's solid. You got to do what you're feeling about your life and your organization and your balance.
yeah. I mean, there's no like one path that everyone's supposed to follow. I mean, even for me to follow Jesus and for you to follow Jesus, it looks different,
Yeah, man.
which is beautiful, but it also is complicated when you're trying to tell someone like this is what it is. It's like, well, I mean, that might be the case for them. There are some things that are clear for both of us to be doing, but there's a lot of gray area.
I was thinking about Luke's comment, how he always brings up I don't want to be colonized. And I always thought that was the stupidest thing, like, what are you talking about, man? Like, we all kind of colonize each other, whether we like it or not. We all accept it, whether we like it or not. And then because I realized that, I guess in the way he uses it, it's guilt trip. It's when somebody guilt trips you, you know, they're trying to force an emotion upon you that you do not want. But sometimes, like when I get guilt tripped, it has its benefits. But like in other times, I have to realize what it is. My mom, she hates it. This is one of the quotes that I remember that she said to me a long time ago because it's not in her normal MO. But she said, guilt is like a pile of shit. It's only yours if you bend over and pick it up. And I was like, what? And that was when it dawned on me. That was when it dawned on me that I have control in this on whether I feel guilty. So like, yeah, as much as I would love to tell you how much you mean to me, dude, and you mean a lot to me. And I love hearing your thoughts, but I also love you more than what you can do for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I'll still be thinking, but I'll be doing it differently, and I don't know what that means yet. Um, yeah, just for me, the medium of live streams is not how I want to spend time. But I'm glad there are people doing it because it means a lot to a lot of people.
Yeah, I think with the morning show, like the Dawn Patrol stuff that I've been doing, yeah, I like doing some of the heavy stuff like yesterday, um, the heavier stuff, thinking and stuff. But I also like it to be fun. I think that's what I loved when you did poetry and people were commenting and stuff like that. It's like, whatever, man. It's like you're just, having fun, stirring the pot, letting people either love it or hate it, or it's awesome. It's like, it's just a fun place to have fun, especially in the morning when you're starting your day, and, and so, like, I think that's why I've kept that stupid little sunshine cartoon thing that I do
I
because
I hate that cartoon so
I
much, Brett.
know,
I
I
hate that
know.
cartoon so much.
When
It
I
it is
first
it is
saw it,
awful.
you know why though? It was like to convey um silliness, and it was kind of like, this is so not me, that I had to use it because it was like almost like a reminder to not do the things that I really really like, not take control of the thing, like me, you know what I mean? Because this is more like, I mean, some people's streams are, it's about them and taking control of that. But I also, like, yesterday I had Mark and Claire on, and it's like, that's how God intended it to be. Whoever I engage with, whoever decides to be evoked to come on, whatever, you know. So it's kind of cool because it gives me that ability to see what he's going to lay at my doorstep, what interaction, what thought that is going to smack me in the face and make me contemplate for the day, whatever, you know what I mean? And so I think, just like in real life, being open to those interactions and that stuff, I think is part of the thing. Um, but again, like you said, not everybody has the same path. I just know, like, right now for me, this is a really cool place to engage and build. Honestly, I build better friendships. This is what I said in the comments about, it was a while back. I said, they say we're like the six people we spend the most time with. And I said, and I really, even though I love these people, I really don't want to be like the people I work with.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It- And so I think, spending time here, it's counterbalancing the misallotment of my brain and my psyche with people that care about some of the deepest things, I think, in the universe. Whether I agree or disagree, I still, I know they care about these things.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I think it's good. I think it's beautiful. Um, it's funny because last year in 2025 I was unemployed as Jay and I were traveling, and so I got to just be a part of all kinds of live streams that were happening throughout the day, and it was incredible. It was really it was really meaningful and helped a lot. So like, yeah, I'm not against live streaming. It's just for me. I can't do it anymore. Not in the same way.
Yeah, I think that's cool because I think, I don't know. It is interesting, the group that's rallied around the morning shows has been kind of cool because people are developing their patterns, things they enjoy. Chris Howard's awesome. Um, you, Olson, I just love his. I don't know, honesty and humor, the way he delivers some of his information very humbly. And
Yes.
Scott is just amazing. Just listening to him have these deep thoughts and um, things that he's thinking about. And yeah, it's pretty cool. And I also have to realize, balance wise, I spoke with you, what, yesterday. Um, but I have to realize that I may feel very close to somebody, but it isn't always the same thing for the other person. Um, it doesn't it doesn't mean what I'm feeling, my closeness to that person is doesn't have any value, or it doesn't mean it's not real.
Yeah, yeah.
But it doesn't mean that other person has to feel the same way either. So
Well, it's kind of like the definition of like parasocial.
yeah, yeah, but well, kinda. I feel like parasocial is a little weird in this space. If you're engaging, right? Like I'm engaging the space,
Yeah.
and you guys get to know me. You might not know everything about me, but you get to know me. So I feel like it's different. Whereas if I just sat in the comments, or if I just was absorbing the one-sided, like I know Luke, or I know Chad, or I know these people because I've heard their
Yeah.
thoughts, and um well, not that's definitely not real, right? I may think they know me, but they don't. Only because I can identify with their feelings, I think they know me. But they don't know that I identify with their feelings if I'm not communicating with them. So like I think that two-way street thing, it isn't as parasocial as we'd like to think, I think. That makes sense.
Yeah, and that's where I go to like degrees of realness. Yeah, I agree. This is way more real than other forms of parasocial. Um, but I mean, I would currently this morning I would die on the hill of this being less real than the people that have to smell me.
Yeah, I
And
it's
I
it,
mean, really, I'm accusing myself of using the people that don't smell me to have the people that could smell me not smell me. That's the accusation I'm leveling against myself. And I don't mean that to accuse anyone else because I only have the energy to accuse myself. I have plenty of accusations that I need to level against myself.
I do agree, though. I can probably see how certain people in this environment. I think there's a lot of very creative people in this environment, in the TLC. I think that these people literally are so creative. They're artsy a lot of times, um, and there could be a chance that a lot of it is acting, right? Like when they go on, there is a persona that they're putting on their streams or something like that.
Well, I think we all do that. I think no matter what.
Yeah, I mean, to a degree. I like I'm pretty me. Like I used to get accused even in real life, right? Nobody ever has to wonder what Brett's thinking. Which is so messed up. You know that that I don't. I guess I always thought is that means I don't have a toggle. I'm like, no, I just don't. I don't. I don't hide a lot of my inner thoughts as if it's something I'm ashamed of.
Yeah. Yeah, I've met large swaths of the TLC and I have not met or seen anyone that was unexpected. Everyone I have met has been pretty much in alignment with who they are on the internet.
Oh, that's cool.
So I'm very much pro the people of TLC.
Yeah,
Some of
that's
the
good.
best people.
Yeah, that's wild. No, I didn't expect this morning for sure. But I also I also have heard other people have this sentiment, or either even gone through the cycle. Sometimes you'll hear people that have gone on and then come back. Um, and I also think one of the most profound stories that I heard was the Job story, um, and to watch his evolution. I'm talking about the real life, the Job, not from the Bible.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
and I mean, it was so awesome to see him use this space, similar to your story, like with AI. He used this space, he used these things that God gave him, got him to a place to reorientate his life on what's the most important. And he pulled out. And for him that worked. And it reminds me of AA. It's like there's people that use AA to get sober, build friendships, um, reorientate their life, and will leave, but it's not like they've left recovery. It's just that they've moved into a different space. A lot of times Christian, whatever. But they didn't have to do that for every day of the rest of their life like other people do. Other people, they need that for the rest of their life. And maybe this space is needed for certain people, right? Like that. But for Job, he transcended that into something different to bring him value in his life in a way that was really meaningful to him and really impactful. And wife and kids, and engaging in a church and being part of that community, and participating in it. So yeah, man, I see both sides of the need, and it's kind of special. So like if you ended up in this place where it brought huge value to your life to pull out, because now you're able to focus on it with a new orientation, right? A new frame, a new reference point on your goals, what you think Christ is calling you to, and other experiences he wants to show you, you know?
yeah. I mean, so I don't know who originated it. If it was Chad, if it was Neil, I'm not sure. There's a phrase that they use where they say, "People who stand by the door," where it's what you're talking about, is this idea that there are some people that like need to like turn the lights on. And Chris Howard says all the time, like, I'm just here to turn the lights on, and then things happen for an hour or so, then I turn the lights off, which I love. And I like that, but I prefer a different metaphor. I like the metaphor of Karen, the guy who takes lost souls into the underworld on a boat, and they go across the river Lethe, the river of forgetting. And there's this idea where like there's a river and there's a shore on either side, and there's some kind of crossing that takes place, and there has to be like a boat driver to like drive the boat, right? Or to paddle the boat, to steer the boat. And that people need to go somewhere, but they need somebody that's been there before and can help them navigate the dangers to get to the other side. And I think sort of the standing by the door thing exists on a shore. That's like a shoreline activity, right? Because you can't build a door that's like moving, like, so there's a stability to that. And I just kind of want to be the boat driver. And that means that there's always going to be like a return journey when you're alone. So you're not always on. There's times when you're like at port and at the dock and you're active in the city life. And then you go and you take some people with you and you do something and then you return alone. And I just need more of that kind of rhythm. And I spend too much time wondering if there's notifications for me to check. And last year there weren't. and I got upset that I wasn't getting enough attention. And then, you got to be kidding me. And then this year, now I have the attention that I wanted last year, and I'm going, but I get.
Howdy.
Hello.
Hello, my friend.
Trying to adjust my audio, and it's not great. Let's see. I guess, now no one is talking, so
Doesn't help, huh?
okay. Hey,
I mean, it's been a long time. We got to just throw you to the wolves. You know, technical difficulties. Figure it out. We're all just gonna sit here and watch you.
yeah. I think this is good.
You sound good. You look good too.
Thank you. Yeah, I haven't used this. This is like a 1940s microphone. I haven't actually used it on the internet yet, so I'm glad it's working. Don't let me mess up what you're doing here. I'm just.
Well, I was about to like click end stream before you clicked come on.
It took me so long to set everything up.
were you running around your room, rearranging things, finding the perfect frame?
Yeah, well, pretty much. Yeah, I'm using like my old Motorola Razr as a webcam, and I think it might be lagging because it's like actually on Wi-Fi.
It looks good.
Kind of a disaster. I don't know. So you're going to Symbolic World? What's up with that? There's a Symbolic World happening? I didn't even know.
Yeah, Pajot's doing another thing, so I got a 7-hour drive to Ohio. It starts at the music starts at 5:15. That's the first thing today.
Yeah, the bar is much higher for their little enclave, I feel like. Like even their Discord, you had to like pass a test or something, right? To even get in the fucking thing. Right?
Yeah, they built a whole social media program in their website.
Yeah, it's wild.
So the real Symbolic Worlders don't even go on YouTube. They watch the videos in the website, and then there's comments and everything. So they built their own ecosystem, basically from top to bottom.
So how do you feel? So do you view that as it's more like it sounds like it's more your level of participation in terms of output that you are like your morning show, if I could call it that, like that you're reevaluating, not so much the larger phenomenon, since you're like about to go to a conference that arguably is adjacent to the whole thing.
I'm not very plugged into Symbolic World. I like that they create beautiful things that have value, the kind of value that people would return to. I like that they're making books, which could be read to your children and then could be given to your child to read to their grandchildren.
I think Paul's like, aspirationally writing a book, not that like, justifies the entire microculture around him, except it's not, I think that's kind of his own thing.
Well, and this is not about Paul or about the microculture. Not for me.
Yeah. It's about like Ethan's microculture of like the 6 or 7 people.
Well, it's not even about that. I mean, it's about it's really about the fact that at 10:15 when I have a break at work, there's people at work that go, "Hey, you gonna walk with us today?" And every day I go, "No, no, thank you." And then I walk to the corner of the parking lot and I check my YouTube notifications or I send Signal messages, and I'm
See, that's
feeling
not what
guilty.
we would have ever wanted for you, Ethan. Like, that's not what Brett wanted for you. So why would you deprive yourself from Brett? Maybe you could. I mean, not that I really care. Like, I mean, I'm like probably the worst person to argue that you should continue engaging. It's like because nobody can get me to engage on the internet thing or whatever. But I don't know. I'm not sure that those things are exactly mutually exclusive. But
So what do you think I should do?
well, I mean, it seems to me that you could maintain your show if you weren't so concerned with the like ephemeral, feedback loop surrounding it. In other words, then you would not need the parking lot time to maintain, the dopamine cycle associated with your show, and then you might find a new equilibrium at some point. But like I said, far be it from me to try to convince you to do one thing or the other. But it just struck me that those things shouldn't be mutually exclusive. Like,
I think that would require me not being able to go on YouTube on my phone and somebody else having like posting the videos for me, because I don't think I have the self-control to like post a thing and then wonder if there's people talking about it and then to not go and find out. Like I don't think I can do that, to be honest with you.
well, you're not the only one, man. The president of the United States and the whole cabinet, they took away their phones when they went to China. They gave them like burner phones because they didn't trust. I mean, obviously, there's a little more involved there, but yeah, I don't think that's a unique problem to you.
But like I want to become the kind of person that has that much self-control. Like I want to like eat of the fruit of the spirit that is self-control. And I don't think I can do that well not being able to control myself. Like I have to let go of part of myself to like be reformed by the spirit to eat more of that fruit, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, but then there's always your dad's gonna buy the chips. So I mean, I guess what I say is self-control. In some ways, it implies that there is the temptation, right? I mean, you could go like full abstinence, but then are you really exercising self-control? But maybe abstinence is necessary or even expedient. But it might not be the only alternative. Because you can still not eat the chips, even if you don't like put a gun to your father's head and say, "Stop buying these fucking chips." I mean, there are different degrees of.
What
I
if
guess it's like almost like they say in alcoholism, like somebody would say come in and they're new and they're like, I don't even know if I have an alcohol problem. And somebody that's been there a long time will say, it's only a problem if it's a problem. And that kind of had such deep resonance. It was like, yeah, actually, it's ruining my family. Yeah, actually, I can't afford to pay my bills, or you know what I mean? So, um, only you know if it's a problem. But I think like I thought about this with like people that are very active and producing things, and they really engage a lot of the feedback stuff, of other people talking about it. But then there's other people like Chris Howard's a good example, right? He'll put something out there, and he just puts it out there. He doesn't. He really has a way of proper He doesn't have a problem with that. So, only you know whether you can get to a place where you could just drop your creative thoughts, feelings, things you do, poetry, whatever, and be okay without getting the receptive feedback. And who cares what people think or say? Not that it's not valuable, it's just that that's not why you're doing it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I know that I'm addicted to the internet. I know that I'm addicted to my phone, and I don't want to be that way. I want to become the kind of man that Chris Howard is, and I don't think I can become like Chris Howard doing what I'm doing now. So I have to like reorient the way I'm.
Chris
the way
Howard
I'm
does
moving.
have a regular morning show. It's just a very unassuming kind of show. More like an availability than a show. Maybe that's more the difference. It's like availing yourself to an opportunity rather than taking upon yourself the burden of, manifesting its maximal potential. Those are two very, very different kinds of things.
Yeah. I need to pack.
See
How
if
long
I
are you
can-
going to be there?
Thursday through Sunday.
Okay, wow.
Do you want pictures of
So-
anything?
It's like longer than the state visit.
I'll send you pictures of stuff.
That's good, yeah. Yeah, you were just putting your photography in the thumbnails. Like, now you're going to deprive everybody of that? How does that-
Okay, but I'm not quitting anything. I'm still going to do internet stuff. I just have to figure out how to do it differently.
Oh, that makes sense.
I need a different rhythm.
Who knows? The symbolic world might reveal something to you.
Well, they're talking about the epic. That's the theme is the epic. Annie Crawford's giving a speech on This Hideous Strength. I don't know what Cale Zeldin's speech is on. I think Richard Rowland's speech is on like heroes, saints, something like that. And the
Where is this happening?
Ohio by Cleveland.
Oh, Ohio. Wow. For
Oh,
some reason, I thought it'd be in Canada. I don't know why. Ohio.
Well, I'll let you get to packing. I just wanted to thank you for having this stream this morning, and I got the opportunity to get a rare visit.
you are the only one that got the visit, so you can, that's like catching a Pokemon. It's a big one. Although you got Mark Jackson. I've never caught Mark Jackson before, so I'm a little jealous of that.
This is sad because I was trying to enlist Matt C to inceptionize Brett to do a kind of like intensive interview of Ethan. Because obviously I was never going to do it.
Yeah, because
And
you
I thought that Brett
refused
would
your
do
own
a
call.
good job. I thought that Brett would do a good job, but then Matt C was like, Ethan never came up, and the whole thing was like fourth. So now I don't know what to believe anymore. I guess Ups is leaving or something. I don't know how that's gonna work. He bankrolls 50% of the thing.
The times they are a changing.
I guess. So wait, where is his exit interview gonna be? And are you gonna have an exit interview? I guess you can't because you're not.
I'm not exiting. How many times do I have to say I'm not exiting?
That's what I said. I told people it's just a 5-year hiatus.
Yeah.
It's not like the end of the world.
What year are you on?
Oh man, I don't even know. I think it was 2029 or something. So got a ways to go.
Wait, but you're here now, which means the hiatus is over.
Well, but you're not even really. I mean, your status is dubious at best. So.
You saying nobody's going to see this?
I'm just saying you were on your way out before you even got in. So
That is kind of
you
true.
already left once and came back.
Yeah.
My
told
thing
you,
is,
I'm-
I only show up when people leave. Like when people leave sad, that's when that's like my rule is to appear at that moment and make sure that they're not, disenfranchised because of some unduly unjust goings on. That's my archetypal function. And it doesn't require a lot of hands-on engagement. So, so I kind of have like a permanent lurk status. And then I just appear when these people, feel alienated such that they leave the like community of last resort. Because that concerns me, and so I try to make sure that people are okay, Sometimes I wonder whether I should have done that for Jacob. It's like maybe it would have been better if he like went off and did something else, but no, I can't say that really. I can't. But so now I have to think about this ups thing, like do I have to reach out to ups now? Be like, what happened to you, man? Like,
It's on Mark Parker's channel.
okay, yeah, Mark. That makes sense. That checks out.
And there may be more ups things happening before he leaves, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess like
Where was your exit interview?
Cyprus would be a good place to recruit. So that all checks out. That all checks out. Yeah, I don't know that I had an exit interview really. I mean, there was like some live stream where I freaked out at Paul, but I don't know if that counts exactly. Pretty much happens whenever we talk on a live stream.
Do you want to give your exit interview right now?
Well, like I said, I mean, none of us have ever left. It's like nobody ever really leaves.
Well, come on, say the last words. We need some last words. I got to get out of here. I got to go pack. Say the last words.
Yeah, I don't know. Grim has a remarkable consistency. I'll say that. He's been developing those themes for quite a while. I'm not going to say ducks eat bread. Those aren't the last words.
It's too impersonal. Make it personal, please. Please, sir. Please, sir. Make it personal.
Make it personal. Well. See, I can't do that. I'm too hopeless romantic, hell bent on being an intellectual to make it personal.
Well,
I do think that self-importance always leads to unimportance, since nothing can sustain itself. And in a way, that is very personal, like for me. But that would require elaboration. So, you just don't have time. Don't have time.